We believe that security forces have opened fire on a funeral procession in Homs. Let's talk more about this. Joining us on the line from Damascus is Lina Mansour, a lawyer and human rights activist. Can you tell us what happened in this attack? Hello, Lina. Jane Dutton here. Can you tell us what happened about this attack on the funeral procession?
Yesterday was a real chaos, The demonstrators were there in huge numbers, and 44 people were killed. This is documented, and tens of them were killed, but we cannot document everything. The opposition is really suffering for the time being, and the members and the activists of the human rights groups are really suffering because of the public media. Today, during the funeral procession, we were really scared as the regime is really enforcing its crackdown against us. Today, we've lost about 10 people killed in Homs, tens of injured people also as well. The situation is really bad, the situation is really harsh, and the Syrian regime is really doing bad for the Syrian people at the time being. And the security forces are rare. The security forces are there doing hard job. The security forces are in a huge number as well. And this is the situation.
Can you also tell us about people that you've heard of who have gone missing? Any idea where they might be or how they've been treated?
Up to the moment, there are hundreds of people who went missing, and there are people who are detained, and they were really tortured. There are other people as well who are not very good in describing the situation that are in, but the problem now, there are people we don't know whether are still alive or not. This is the situation, according to the demonstrations and the protesters. The people are detained haphazardly, and we don't know up to now who is alive and who is not. We know this days later when the information came to us, but the demonstrations will go on, and the victims are still there until now.
Yes, I want to ask you that. I mean, how frightened are people now after this rather extraordinary action by security forces, the fact that they are clearly willing to open fire on funeral processions? Is this deterring people from going to the streets? Are you concerned that these protests will eventually fizzle out?
The Syrian people never feel scared, and we are now going on. The more they are violent towards us, the more we are continuing our demands for freedom and for legitimate rights. The Syrian street, the Syrian people is not scared anymore. We need to go on, and we need to continue our protest, and we need to continue the demand of our rights. This is the situation there. We are quite keen and we are quite insisting to achieve our rights.
And tell us about the situation in hospitals there. Are they able to cope, hospitals around the country, and are those who've been shot at safe there?
Hospitals in Syria are not really able to deal with the huge number of injured people and killed people. This is one. Two, the doctors and the medical staff are not allowed to deal properly with the injured people or even to treat them. This is the situation over there regarding the hospital and medical staff as well. The security forces is really treating the hospital people, the medical staff, in a harsh way. The security people attacked the ambulances that are full with injured people. They arrest the injured people as well. This is really bad, and a lot of the detainees are not very well feeling.
You mentioned a little earlier about how difficult it is to work a human rights organization such as yours. Can you give us an example of what it is that you experience on a day-to-day basis? Lina, could you hear that question? I'm just wondering how...
And I would like to say that the human rights groups and the activists are doing their best to help the Syrian people. We need to support those vulnerable people, and we need to support people in continuing their protests for the freedom, for the legitimate rights. And we are going on, we are continuing our efforts, we are supporting the Syrian opposition at the same time. We will do whatever, and we can do whatever. We know the name of the game. We have to continue our efforts, we have to continue our job, and we have to cooperate with other human rights organizations and the groups as well to help the Syrian people. This is the situation now, but we need also to document, and what we are doing now is documenting the cases and documenting the situation. We also need to document and to legalize the situation. We need to convey our message to the whole world in order to know the truth, because hundreds of people were killed and injured.
Okay, Lina Mansour, thank you for helping us document what is happening on the streets in Syria. Lina telling us that she believes that at least 10 people were killed when troops opened fire.